Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Between the Trenches podcast. And I'm Sean. I get the privilege of leading our student ministry here at Clear Springs, and I'm here with Jamie, who's our children's pastor. Jamie, welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Good. Well, I'm excited to do this episode. I think this is something that you and I both experience, being in student ministry and children's ministry. And it's something that we all dread. It's the summer slump. You ever experienced that?
So, yes, approaching the summer, you start to experience some things where the numbers start to dip a little bit just due to various things. But I'm excited to talk about it, how to get through it, how to plan for it, prep for it, and to watch the Lord do some great things in the summer slump time.
Absolutely. And by no means are we coming at this from a place of perfecting it or mastering it, but we're trying to relate in the sense that we have absolutely gone through this. And whether you're a pastor or a parent, it's very obvious that we all go through these seasons of the summer slump. And so today, we just want to be a help. And, summer is funny. It's really funny, especially in ministry. Schedules loosen up, attendance dips, and families travel, and it's as if routines just completely go out the window. Mm-hmm. And summer, in a way, can feel like survival.
Yeah, it really can. But, on the flip side of that, really, summer is not just something to survive. It's something I think that we can steward. So what are the opportunities? What can we do during the summer? Crank things up for the kids' ministry, team ministry, church, whatever it may be, to not just get through it, but actually thrive in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for ministry leaders, there's this temptation that when you get to about May, families go into vacation mode and ministry leaders go into survival mode. And it can feel like for parents, as parents of children, obviously we feel like, man, summer is just this ever never-ending shifting ground that we're just trying to find footing on. And for leaders, there's almost this lull that we just have come to expect. And the truth of the matter is summer slump is real, but it doesn't have to be a setback. We just have to be more intentional. So, Jamie, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. Why the summer slump happens? Well, I think, number one, really, it's going to be disrupted rhythms. There's going to be certain things that are going to happen that are going to completely change the pattern of the way a family would work normally during a 9-month school year or whatever it may be. School's out, bedtimes are going to shift, sports camps are going to take over, you got vacations, and everybody seems to vacation at one time, and it's empty. So it throws everything off. Families are going to be less structured. Kids are going to be spending more time on screens, doing different things. So the parents are going to feel tired. They're going to feel stretched. And so all of those things together are going to kind of throw the rhythm off, and so that kind of contributes to the summer slump, I think.
Yeah, and you almost think that like all the families just got together and had coffee, on Saturday night or Tuesday night and said, what can we all do to skip? Like, what can we all do rather than go to church? And obviously, the truth in that is that's just not reality. But most of the time, it's just because people are just out of the routines. Kids aren't being rebellious by not coming to youth group or coming to Teen Kid on Wednesday night. They're just out of the routines. And the reality for ministry is we hit that summer slump and attendance drops. It's as if volunteers aren't as consistent. All the momentum that we had spent building in the spring completely just disappears. And it gets harder to track who's drifting because you don't know, do they got sports? Are they on vacation? Are they skipping? Is there something going on in their life we just don't know about? And as a leader, it's easy to get discouraged and start assuming that just nobody cares anymore.
Sure. When you step into a room and you're used to seeing a certain amount of people, no matter what that number is, if it's 100, and you step into that room and it's suddenly 65, 75, 80, there's some discouragement that can immediately hit you. And so it can be a little bit of a setback. But it's just a season. It's just a season. And we can get through and kind of reframe the summer slump. And if we only focus on who's missing, then we're going to miss those who are present there in that service. Pastor Justin's, he has taught me so much on this particular point, because I watched him on a Sunday morning, the main service. You got 1,200 plus people sitting in a building, and he's going to absolutely pour his heart out, preaching his heart out, give everything he's got. But then you watch the same man go into a Wednesday morning service where there's a smaller group of senior saints, and he's going to do the exact same thing. Even though it's a smaller number, he's going to absolutely pour his heart out, preach his guts out to those people, and be present in that moment. And I think that's what we need to do, not miss the people that are there, and just have a blast with whoever God sends you, whether you're doing a game, have fun with it, or preaching. Just pour your heart into it and watch what the Lord does during those moments.
You are so right when you say that. In a sense, what you're saying is if we only focus on who's missing, we will miss who's there. Mm-hmm. I can think of last year when I finally hit summer. It was May, and I think it was our first official Wednesday post the chaos of the school year. And I walked downstairs on that Wednesday night, and it seemed to me like no one was there. You got to think, we have 130 chairs, and it's very common for us to fill up 120. And when I go into our teen room, and it's 10 minutes before the service, and it just feels like maybe 10% of the kids are in the room.
What did you say the week before? What did you do?
Well, that's what I thought. I literally had this thought, Jamie, where I thought, I am going to get fired. I killed this youth group. I literally had that panic moment. Mm. And then about 2 minutes, 1 minute to go before the service, they all poured in from outside. So I realized two things, really. One, it's summer, so they're outside playing rather than sitting inside, right? Two, I'm so focused in this moment on the kids who are not there, and I'm completely missing the opportunity to minister to the ones that are there. So it was a very big mindset shift, but it was a moment of panic. Here's what summer can actually be great for. One is relationship building.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So if you've got a smaller number just because of people missing vacations, you got an opportunity really to minister more on a one-on-one with people that you maybe not necessarily had an opportunity to build those relationships before. You make memories with those people. I remember we were leading a youth group one time and had a big event planned. We were fired up about it, planned, put money in it, time in it, prepped for it. And one girl showed up. Literally, my wife and I are sitting there, and one girl shows up. And to this day, she will say that was the best thing that she ever went to, because we were down, we were depressed, we were like, this is a failure. But we just decided, let's just have fun. And so Kimmy, really, my wife, she really intentionally tried to invest into that one girl, and she loved it. So whoever comes, just make that a moment for them where you can connect with them, either make a memory, one-on-one discipleship, teaching, whoever it might be.
Yeah, I think in this idea of a reframing or reshaping the summer slump, you could almost say reframing is more redefining. I think we oftentimes define success in ministry wrong, but I think we define failure wrong too. And I think if we reframe summer into the idea that we're not trying to keep everything just above ground, we're asking ourselves, how can we disciple people in a different season? Seasons happen, seasons of life, seasons of ministry, literally seasons in the year. And if we are confused in the idea to think that we are going to handle people the same throughout the year, I think we're really going to miss the mark. Mm-hmm. And so I think we have to realize summer becomes fun when it's not just a season of survival, but when we look at it as a season of opportunity.
Absolutely. So just practically one thing we do here at our church will be the VBS, Vacation Bible School. So that is going to be a massive, massive event, and there's going to be tons of kids that come, tons of kids. And so instead of just going through some type of a summer slump, Miss Jenny and the VBS team, they're going to crank it up, and it's going to be an absolute fun time, something that you wouldn't normally do in a school year type setting. But the kids have a little more freedom, and so it's going to be fun. So you take those opportunities.
There are so many things we can do and get away with in the summer that we just simply can't during the school year. We can't do a week-long camp. Kids can't miss that much school. It's just a different season. It'd be hard to do a week-long vacation Bible school. Like, you're not going to do water events in January, not at least in East Tennessee. And so when we look at summer as an opportunity to have fun, but also an opportunity to disciple people differently in a different season, summer no longer becomes survival. It becomes fun. It becomes intentional. It becomes an opportunity. So let's talk about, for pastors, how do we survive summer as ministry leaders?
Sure. I think, first of all, really, it's a time to collaborate, not to compete. We've got families that are on vacations, kids have sports, they get distracted by things, but find ways to work together rather than condemn them because they're not at your service. We can expect them to step into our world, but we don't want to step into their world. In other words, let's see what we can do, what opportunities are out there to collaborate with them.
Yeah, I mean, we take it personal in a sense. Not everybody, and I feel like we're probably getting better at this, but there's a tendency to take it personal when they don't come to your turf. You know what I mean? Like a Wednesday night service, like they didn't come to my service. They didn't come hear me preach. Now I'm offended. Well, when's the last time you went to one of their games?
Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a birthday party? When's the last time you reached out and extended a personal invitation to step into their world a little bit and take interest in what they're doing? That's how you build trust.
Sure.
So I think if we look at the summer as a way to collaborate with our families rather than compete, it's not a matter of wins or losses. It's a matter of being faithful, being intentional. I think we'll find that summer changes. Another way, and we can do that. Here's how we can accomplish collaborating by not competing. Simplifying our calendar. Like, summer doesn't have to be jam-packed. Like, you have to build Sabbath rhythms into your ministry, and summer is an opportunity in some cases to do that.
Yeah, because the schedule looks different, you got different opportunities. Like in the fall here, we're not going to schedule an event on a UT football night. It's just not going to happen. Same thing in summer. You got certain things that the families are going to do, and certain events are just not going to work. And so you get an opportunity to change the calendar a little bit.
Yeah, in my mind, if I could look at a family and say what's more important, being at this youth event or going on their cruise that they planned 2 years ago and put their life savings into, probably pulled money out of retirement to afford it. In my heart, the reality is, well, church or that activity should be more important. But I also have to think, put myself in their shoes. It's really not, and whether I believe that doesn't mean they believe that. And I just have to be okay with that. So if we there's no need to overload our students with activities. In our rhythm with our youth ministry and kids ministry is kind of like this too. There's a whole lot of nothing, but then there's a couple really, really, really big things. So we're not like overloading them with a ton of small activities. We're giving them space to breathe, giving our volunteers space to breathe, but also giving them these really our two biggest events of the whole year for our youth ministry happen in the summer. But we don't really do any small events outside of that, outside of our regular Wednesday attendance. How's that for kids ministry?
Sure. Yeah. So we continue the same things that we would during the school year, such as, kids church, littles church is going to go in the same way. And then our Wednesday program, we're going to continue a Wednesday program. Our Team Kid will end in May at school time ending, but then we'll transition right over into our Summer Character Club. So it's a little bit different setup, but it gives the kids an opportunity to have a lot of fun in a class where we've got someone that's going to dress up like a character of the Bible. They're going to come and teach a first-person lesson. But then we're going to take a moment. We're going to play a fun game outside. The weather's going to be beautiful. And so it's a little bit different change of pace as well. But the kids love it. So we continue the Sunday morning teaching opportunities, Sunday schools. Then you continue your Wednesday program. And then, like you said, we're going to throw in that big event. We're going to throw in our kids camp. We're going to take them to a week of camp. And of course, with the teens, it's going to be a massive, massive undertaking. Just an awesome event. Or take them to teen camp, and so those big events, they have something to look forward to. On the church side of things, with everything else that's going on with family vacations, they also have something to look forward to on the spiritual side of things as well.
Yeah, and shameless plug, camp is coming. If you're one of our members, you're a parent of one of our teens or our children here at our church, camp registration is live, so you can find that on the app or on the website. Anyways, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Are you offering a discount to any teens listening to this?
If they tell me they heard it on the podcast, they can do fundraising.
There you go.
What you're saying, you use the word continue a lot. And what that sounds like you're saying is simplicity and consistency trumps busyness. We don't need to jam-pack the calendar like it looks impressive on paper, but really what it does is it wears out both families and volunteers. And so being simple, being consistent, in a sense, less is more. Another way we can do that is fight for connection over attendance. Let's be real. Whether you're in business, whether you're in any leadership capacity, whether you're a pastor of a church, raw numbers that dip have a tendency to be discouraging. So there's a few things we can ask. Jamie, why don't you go over some of those?
Sure. When the numbers dip and the energy just seems to drop a little bit, then change the direction. Let's ask some questions. So who do we connect with this week? Rather than how many people did we break our attendance record this week? No, but who do we connect with? It's important. Number two, who had a meaningful conversation with, who do we reach out to and really talk to, not just about the weather, sports, what's going on, but actually dove into their life a little bit and had a meaningful conversation with. Who's showing spiritual interest. So let's find those people that are, during that summertime, that are still growing, they're still wanting something from God. And then fourth, who needs a check-in? Who do we need to reach out to?
I think I'll speak to myself. When we're in like the busyness of ministry, I have a tendency to get so set on the mission, and I forget who the mission's about. And it's easy when you're just trying to get things done to feel like passing conversations are connecting with people, and they're not. Mm-hmm. I have to really focus on stopping and slowing down and really making sure that when I leave that interaction, there was actually a connection. Like I could go to someone else and say, here's exactly what we talked about. Not the weather, not the cliche questions, but what is actually happening in that person's life. And there is no better opportunity to do that than in summer. When it slows down, things are more intentional, things are calmer, and you can actually focus on the kids who are actually showing up every single week. In a way, you could say the faithful few. Mm-hmm. That might always not literally apply. You might not have just a few, but the context still applies that you're really focusing on the ones who are there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's some practical ideas. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. I think I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, when you break that down practically, give us some steps of really how we could systematically connect with people during the summer.
I think one thing that really works for me within boundaries, obviously within staying appropriate, is just personally reaching out to students. Mm-hmm. I'm in group messages with a lot of my students, and I don't always communicate in there, but when I realize that it's been a little while, I will get in there and just get up to date and things like that. So I think personally sending a text message, interacting with them outside of your regularly scheduled programming, again, within boundaries, is a really, 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 really key step to doing that. Mm-hmm. When you notice trends in students and patterns, maybe the Lord lays a kid on your heart and you realize they've not been there in 3 years, follow up with them. Mm-hmm. Have a system to reach out to them and follow up with the parents. Hey, it's not a matter of just pressuring them to come back to church. It's, hey, I'm concerned with what's happening in your personal life. Mm-hmm. Is there a way I can help? Pay attention to the small moments. Those small moments, those conversations that could be passing, but instead you stop and you really try to get behind the facade and find out what's happening in that kid's life. That's how you build trust. You don't build trust from a platform. Mm-hmm. You build trust on ground level. And then lastly, I just want to encourage, if you're a leader, have real conversations, for volunteers. Like, we run decently large ministries within our church, and it's not always feasible every single Wednesday for me to connect with every kid. So I pick one or two, but I've got 20 plus volunteers that will be down there. That's kind of like an army. And I kind of deploy them to take those opportunities to connect with those kids. Same thing with Sunday school. And I assume kids ministry has very similar processes.
Sure, absolutely. And I think also with that, it's a good time to really protect your volunteers, as far as they're going to have lives in the summer. They want to, just like we do, they want a vacation. They've got family things going on. And so, like, practically, just like as we're thinking about coming up to a busy time, we encourage our volunteers to sit one, serve one. So if they're working and so busy serving in this ministry, that ministry, and they don't ever get a chance to sit and listen to a sermon, listen to the pastor preach, and be in a setting like that where God can speak to their heart and encourage them, lift them up, then it's a real place for burnout, and we don't want them to get to that point. I love that they're enjoying serving. I love that they volunteer for everything, but at the same time, we want to give them a break as well, and so we want to be sensitive to that.
We have to be cognizant of the idea of leading on softly. We're the ones that are called to ministry. We're the ones that are called to labor in the word, and we don't want to lose people for the sake of driving too fast. And, one thing I've always just told our volunteers is, look, there is a mission. There's a goal. Like, we are trying to get the work of the Lord done. But I'll always be cognizant of the fact and concerned with the fact that you have personal lives. Mm-hmm. For both of us, there's a big blessing in the sense that majority of our volunteers have skin in the game. Like, they have kids or students that are growing up in the ministries that we lead. Mm-hmm. However, if we don't protect our own hearts, we can look at that as a curse when they have things to do. When they are now the parents who are going on vacation with their kids and they're not there. Mm-hmm. And we have to protect our own spirits. Leaders in ministry have to protect their own spirits, that they don't allow those that really, really do the hard work to not become a curse, in a sense. Like, they are blessings, and they are like, we're here 30 hours a week. We're here 5 days a week. Like, we have to be here. They don't have to do anything. They're giving of their time. A lot of them, they leave work, they leave their 9 to 5 to come really do a second shift, do double duty for an event. Mm-hmm. And we have to prioritize their spiritual care as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So how do you survive summer as a parent? We both have kids. Mm-hmm. I have small children, you have a small child, and then some kids who are in youth group. So you're split all kinds of different ways. Mm-hmm. How does Jamie Weedman survive the summer as a parent? And how can those that are listening, that are simply parents, they're not leaders, they're not volunteers, they simply just want to know, how can I survive the summer without crashing and burning? What would you say to that?
Cruises, vacations, fishing. No, I'm just kidding. So,
I mean, there is a method to the madness, I guess, right?
Yeah. So here's really one point to, if I can encourage myself and every other parent that would be listening, is don't surrender the summer spirituality. Okay, what I mean by that is make church a priority. It can't be optional. Now, we're not talking about when you're away and you've planned those events, family outings and vacation stuff. But if you're here, don't let summer be an excuse just because you have an opportunity to sleep in or you have an opportunity to go fishing. You have to make church a priority and let your kids know that. If you're here and you're any way possible able to be here, let your kids know that we are going to be in God's house even in the summer. It's important.
Listen, if you don't, let me encourage you with this. If you make church optional, I really believe this, then when your kids grow up, they won't look at church as an option.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is our spiritual duty to make our spiritual things a priority, to make church a priority. It's not that difficult.
Yeah. And that, really in making it a priority, there's some practical ways you can do that. And that's looking at your calendar and really pulling out the church calendar. And our church does a great job of getting all the events out there for parents so that they can see. They know when teen camp's going to be. Don't plan your family vacation during teen camp. They know when summer camp, when VBS is going to be here. Don't leave our church during VBS time. We look forward to that time. Our kids look forward to that time. And so you can plan your personal time around, build your life around the church and what's going on at the church, and you won't regret it. And then practically not just on the yearly calendar, but really on a daily thing, plan for Sunday. And what I mean by that is and I'm the worst at this, okay? On Saturday night is a great time to have your clothes set out, your kids' clothes set out, and I don't do any of that. I get it on Sunday morning. I just grab something and go. But my wife is tremendous at setting out stuff, making sure the kids are all ready, put their Bibles there by the door, put their clothes there, so when they get up, you don't have to take all the extra time and then be late. So that's just a daily preparation to be ready for church.
Listen, I am notorious for saying that I'll do it in the morning. And the worst morning to do anything besides get up, get dressed, eat a cinnamon roll, and go to church is Sunday morning. Like, if you think you're going to find extra time on a Sunday morning to do anything that you should have done the day before,
it's not happening.
Mark the words that I speak. It's not going to happen.
No,
it is absolutely not going to happen. Something will happen. The tire will be flat. You will get coffee on your shirt. A kid will have a runny nose. The dog will chew something up, or worse. It's not going to happen. So you're exactly right. You have to prepare early, and you have to plan ahead. But then next, I would say get involved personally. Like, if you're a parent, don't just send your kid off to youth group and hope for the best. Get involved.
Absolutely. And there's so many ways to get involved.
Yeah.
Volunteer. There's so many ministries that you can be involved in, reaching your children or reaching other children. And it's a great way to connect spiritually during the summertime. And then another thing really is have intentional conversations with the leadership and with your child. One of the wonderful joys that we have is going home from church and asking our children, what did you learn? Now, that reveals a lot about what they did during that hour time. But I'd say most of the time they have something that they learned, that they took from the service. One of the things during our Team Kid, it's a wonderful program because the 5-year-old's going to learn the same thing that the 10-year-old is and that the 8-year-old's going to learn. And so you can kind of get that same lesson from all different angles. So take those moments to ask your children about what's going on and keep them involved that way.
Yeah. And lastly, well, I wouldn't say lastly, one of the next ones we have here is monitor who's influencing your child. Here's what you have to know. Someone is discipling them. If it's not you, hopefully it's a spiritual leader in their life. But your children are being influenced and discipled and learned and taught by multiple different sources. And it is your job as the shepherd of your home and the parent of your home to monitor and protect who's influencing your children. And what I would say specifically is don't let screens do that. Don't let screens disciple your child.
Yeah, you can't emphasize that enough, really, and protect your children. And then watching who they're hanging out with. Summer's a great time to hang out with friends and do stuff that you wouldn't have the time to do during the summer. But monitor it. Be careful. You can't be careful enough in today's day and age.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, summer is a wonderful opportunity to build core memories. Some of my greatest memories was summertime. Here's why. Because I always got in trouble in school. And so the memories I have of school was always just causing trouble and then
I would have never thought that about you.
Well, listen, if you learn anything from this podcast is that I'm not perfect. The Lord has helped me. School year events for me were going and hoping for the best and teachers politely asking me to stay home the next day. Like, that's pretty much how it went. But when I got to summer, I didn't have that pressure. I got to go out and live, a little bit, kind of just spontaneously. And some of my best memories were from summer. And as a parent, you have to understand summer is just not, leaving your kids to their own devices. It's an opportunity to build some of your kids' most foundational memories. So don't be very intentional about that, and don't miss a great opportunity to build intentional connections with your children.
Well, let's leave some final encouragement. What can we say and leave that would just motivate in this area of the summer slump, thinking about entering into this time? What's some things that we can leave?
Let me speak to ministry leaders on this one. First of all, you may not see the fruits of your labor this summer, but you have to keep sowing anyways. We're not called to preach to large crowds. We're called to preach to hearts. We're not called to serve large numbers. We're just called to serve. And when you keep the main thing, which is faithfulness, it's not going to necessarily matter that you see results now, but I promise you, if you keep sowing, those seeds will sprout. What about for parents, Jamie?
Sure. Don't underestimate what God can do through those ordinary moments in your home. Use them, take them. There's going to be a lot of time in the summer, a lot of downtime that you can use to spend with your children. Have fun with them memorizing scripture verses. Set a goal for them. Make sure you're in some type of rhythm where you're praying with your children. Try to read the Bible to them. Tell them Bible stories. Teach them. Use opportunities to teach them how to live for God. Give them some instruction. Give them advice, wisdom, and just don't miss those times, and have fun with them. They'll remember it for the rest of their life, those moments that you spend with them.
Big spiritual fruit often grows out of small, faithful habits. Mm-hmm. It's not always the big moments. It's not always the on-stage opportunity. Sometimes it's just the small, intentional conversations you have around the dinner table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, listen, don't just survive the summer. We want to encourage you to steward it. God has given you a season that comes with great opportunity, and he's called you to steward that time that you have. Summer may change the schedule, but it doesn't change the mission. And so, again, thank you for tuning in this week as we've talked about how to survive the summer. We hope that this was a blessing and a help. And if this has encouraged you in any way, please share this with a fellow pastor or parent who you might think this could be a help to. We'll see you next time on Between the Trenches podcast, where we discuss life, leadership, and ministry. God bless. Boom.
Boom. It's a print.